So welcome to episode 2. I think in this episode, I want to tell you about what actually happens when you have the hip surgery. So in terms of preparation, when you're going to hospital, you don't need anything. You actually just don't need anything. You just need to have good mindset, and you need to have friends who come and visit you, friends or family. So please be good to people so they can come and visit you. So the surgery itself takes about 4 hours. And when I got to hospital, it was an evening, you know, there's all this fanfare. You're wearing your Sunday best for some reason. I don't know why you feel like you need to dress well before you go for surgery. So the next day I got a gown. My surgery was delayed maybe about 2 hours because there was an emergency with an old lady who broke her knees. So you can imagine there are many people having surgery. So I get there, and the first thing I see, because the doctor wants to talk to me before he actually does the cut, the first thing I see is the doctor's wearing gumboots. I'm like, gumboots? I've never seen, quite a nice fancy light green gumboots. I'm asking, why are you wearing gumboots? And he's like, you know, this procedure can get very bloody. So the gumboots just, you know, it's easier for cleaning. I mean, not very encouraging, but I think he's probably just an honest guy. You're paralyzed, or rather you're not feeling from your waist down, but you're awake so that they can tell you what you need to do. Now the surgery bed, it's like one of those old movies, you know, in the 1930s when they first started doing surgery. It's like a dark room, it's a dark green room, the windows are up there, many boxes, you know, boxes of spare parts or what, but there's so many different boxes. And there's about 8 or 7 people in the operating theater with you. So there's a small table and you have to fit on that table because I guess there's no room for you to move around. So I was put on my right side because they were operating on my left hip. And when they do that, they actually take this thing that sort of fixes you in place. So it's like, I don't know if you've done any woodwork. There's something you do to hold the wood in place. There's some machine that they use. So they had put it on my back and in my tummy to hold me in place so that I don't move around, because it is actually a bit of a violent surgery. So they block you. I couldn't see what was happening, but I could see some machines that they were using. Now, one of the machines, I asked the doctor, what is this thing? And he says, that's an electric saw. So it's very hard to break a bone. And that electric saw is what they use to actually cut your femur. And then they take the implant and jam it into the femur. And at some point, there was a lot of pulling happening, and you could hear, it literally sounds like in a garage. You could just hear kong, kong, kong. And you know that they're making space in your pelvic bone to put a screw in there and then put the implant. So the whole surgery took about 4 hours. I was very happy because I think they put me on morphine. And I was just being quite jovial and asking the doctors what exactly was happening at each step. I think it's good to know. So after that, I got back, and that's when trouble started, because nobody told me that my leg would just stop working. So that specific leg where I had the surgery, I could not feel it. I could not do anything with it. So it was literally dead. I had to ask people to move it with a pillow, you know, so that, because when something sits, it gets heavy and it gets sore. So that's one thing I think is feedback for the doctors. Nobody ever tells you what's going to happen. They'll just say, you know, don't move like this, don't move like this. But there's other things that affect you, and one of them is that your leg will not move. It'll get feeling after some time, but for like a week, you will not be able to move the leg the way you want. So if you're sitting on a bed and you want to swing it this way, it's not happening. If you're looking at your ankle and you want to move your toes like this, it's not happening. So just be mentally prepared when you're going for the surgery, and just know that even though it seems pretty dire, it is going to get better.